let's talk about some speed limits, right? There was an article posted on Jalopnik last week or the week before, and it was saying how one of the officials at the National Highway Traffic and Safety Administration wants to raise the speed limits. He's in favor of it, and he's someone who's qualified to think that. He's not, your typical politician type who just, wants votes. This is someone who is looking at roads, he's looking at the level of cars, and he says the speed limits are too low. I, as you might expect, would agree with that. In fact, I'm going over a little bit over 80 miles per hour right now. And my car is not exploding, it's not falling off the road. Clearly 80 miles per hour is not some type of physical limit. The limit here is a good bit lower than that. I mean, we're on a highway. I'm not going to really give away where I am, but, we're on the highway. The speed limit is at least 15 miles an hour lower than that, maybe even more. But everyone's going this fast. I'm going this fast right now, and I'm not really passing people. There's not that much traffic right now, but the guy in front of me, this guy in this Accord, is going maybe a little bit slower than me, but certainly like 85, or certainly like 75 miles an hour. I'm gaining on him a little bit, but it will go by him. But I guess he's probably going 75 miles an hour. Traffic in the right lane, maybe going the speed limit. But that's the reality on these roads. Alright, I'll give it away. The speed limit here is 65. The right lane goes the speed limit, 65. The center lane goes 75. And the left lane goes 80 or 85. That's the reality in most of the country. Most of the world, I would even say. But let's talk about this, right? There's nothing really unsafe about this. I'm in my Volkswagen CC. It's a car that was designed to be able to cruise on the Autobahn, so it has no trouble with 80 miles an hour. I've had it up to 120 here and there. It remains totally solid. There's nothing wrong with the car at these speeds. And I'll be honest, there's nothing wrong with any modern car at these speeds. The speed limits were set such a long time ago. And back then, even then it was still kind of low. But it should remain, speed limits should be safe. I'm not, talking let's go crazy. But, I would argue this. Every car after 2000, pretty much, with maybe a couple exceptions, is capable of doing 100 miles an hour. I was with my friend in a normal standard Ford Fiesta, not the ST, the normal one. He had it up to 120 in the right spot. A Fiesta. And it was actually pretty solid. Like, for a little ass car like that. That's what I'm saying. If those can do it, the speed limit should be set for cars in the middle. For more modern-ish cars within reason in the middle. Yes, maybe like a Toyota Tercel or something from this 80s or early 90s. Maybe that's going to struggle to go to 80 miles an hour. But hello, newsflash. The speed limit is supposed to be the limit, not necessarily the flow of traffic. What we're talking about right now is that they've criminalized normal behavior. If most people in the left lane, the flow of traffic there is 80 miles an hour usually. 70, let's say call it 75 to 85, nice round 80, right? The flow of traffic is the norm. Laws should not punish people that are conforming to the social norm. And that's my beef with the speed limits, is that the cops right now can literally look at this bunch of traffic right here and they can pick anybody and give them a ticket. That's not right. Now granted, I realize what that does for police revenues if you raise the thing, but you know what? The cops shouldn't be criminalizing normal activity. If that's how they have to make money, then they need to overhaul their system. They shouldn't be punishing citizens for generally obeying what everyone else is doing, okay? Now, we're talking 80 miles an hour. Why do I say 80 miles an hour, right? Why is that the right speed, okay? I've driven on a variety of different highways, and I'll bring it up, right? Let's say 75 to 85, 80 would be a good number to set it at. This highway right here, I'm going a little under 80 now, but, we're all going at least 75. You know, if I go 85, I'd be passing people. 80 barely passes people. I'm not gaining on anyone else in the left lane. Nobody here is going 65. Nobody. You know, it's just so far below what is actually safe. You know, like the level which you can cruise safely. Alright, so why I say 80? Because I've been on highways that still have a 55 mile an hour speed limit somehow. Everybody there goes 75 to 85. Flow of traffic. Right? Even though the sign says 55. 65, we're looking around. Everyone's going at least 75. This guy in the right lane, I'm barely pulling ahead of him going 77. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, clearly, everyone's breaking the law right now. We're all doing this. That means the law needs to be raised, right? So 65, everyone still goes about 80. You obviously have your outliers that are going faster. But let's take it further. I've been and driven on the Autobahn. Unrestricted Autobahn. And you know what? Yeah, there's the dickheads every now and then. They're flying by you at 150 miles an hour in the left lane. But most of traffic is going, guess what? The equivalent, whatever in kilometers, you know, 75 to 85 miles an hour. We're talking 130 to 150 kilometers an hour. 150 is 90 something, but we're not talking outside of that general realm. Most people are going about 80 or 85 on the Autobahn, even when they could be going as fast as they damn well want. So that tells me that, you know, all over the world, that these speed limits, you know, speed limits or whatever, people generally drive about the same speed. Why is that? Because I think that modern cars have a nice gait, right? 80 miles an hour is fast enough to get where you want to go in a reasonable amount of time, but it still maintains a sense of security and control with the car. Now, there is, you know, I don't think most people, you know, I think that's subconscious for most people. Most people are looking at the speed limit sign and adding like 15. Because I think it's well known, if you're going 20 over, you're going to get pulled over if you pass a cop. If you're going 15 over, and most of the traffic is going 15 over, you probably won't get pulled over. So people generally add 15 to the speed limit on the highway. Now, I want to also caveat, I'm not saying we should raise speed limits the same way in a town or something. I think 25, 30 miles an hour in a town, you know, is just fine because, you know, children like to run out into the street. I know I did when I was a little kid. That's why my parents put me on a leash back then. Maybe still. You know, but on the highway we're talking about. Because if you actually went 55 in these places where they say 55 or 65, like, it's going to take you, I mean, it's just excessively safe. There's a certain point at which technology is raised itself and the law needs to adjust. People naturally adjust. The law needs to adjust. We don't need to criminalize normal behavior. So I'm saying let's make the speed limits on the highways 80 miles per hour. If you want to go slower in the right lanes. This should be the speed limit. And the guy in the article on Jalopnik says, you know, 85, the speed limit needs to be set at the 85th percentile. That means 85% of people are going to be going that speed or less. There'll be the dickheads that are going faster than that. Those are the people that should be ticketed. But right now, if you look at it, I would say 80% of the people on this road are going faster than 65. That's ridiculous. So, you know, I think, you know, if you look at the same thing, so you're talking about, that's the speed limit right now is set at the 20th percentile. That's just not right. That just means the system needs to change because people are doing what they do and people are going to do what they do anyway. The laws need to change. They need to be updated and modernized. That's all we're saying here. Raise the speed limit to a degree that people already go. I'm not saying, you know, I'll save, you know, the unrestricted argument, you know, like Autobahn for later. But, you know, I'm just saying 80 miles an hour. Let's make the laws conform to whatever the social norms are. That's all I'm saying.